Hook. Imagine being born in complete darkness so deep that submarines get crushed like tin cans. You're smaller than a grain of rice. You can't swim properly. And within minutes, most of your family gets eaten by monsters with their own headlights. But here's the properly mental bit: if you somehow survive, you'll grow into a 30-foot ribbon of pure awkwardness. The kuya unturn around without tying itself in knots, dies alone in the darkness, and then keeps floating upright for weeks after death, like some sort of oceanic zombie. Oh, and humans think you're a doomsday omen. Welcome to life as an oarfish. Quite possibly the most tragic existence in the entire ocean. Stick around, because this story gets darker than the abyss itself. Main content. You break through your translucent egg sac, joining hundreds of your siblings as you all hatch into the crushing darkness of the ocean. We're talking so deep that the pressure would flatten a submarine like a stepped-on Coke can. This endless black abyss is now your home. Lovely in it, you're barely bigger than a grain of rice, a tiny transparent larva drifting helplessly in currents you can't control. Your swimming skills, absolutely non-existent. You're basically a floating piece of confused jelly with delusions of grandeur. Before you even understand what's happening, you see them. The hunters. Shadows moving through shadows. Flashes of light attached to monsters you can't fully comprehend. A lanternfish swoops through your siblings, its mouth open wide like a passenger jet with teeth. Dozens of your brothers and sisters disappear in seconds. Just ... gone. Another flash. This time, a siphonophore, basically the Ocean-S version of a floating death, rope drags more of your family into oblivion. What the actual hell? You think to yourself, watching as your numbers dwindle from hundreds to dozens in minutes. There's no time for mourning. You need to move. But how? Unlike regular fish that swim horizontally like they've got somewhere normal to be, your body is designed to swim vertically. Head up, tail down. Your first attempts are absolutely pathetic. You wiggle awkwardly, fighting against both gravity and the crushing weight of the ocean. The current does most of the work, sweeping you along like a piece of depressed confetti. At least the darkness hides your embarrassing swimming skills from whatever's looking for its next snack. Speaking of snacks, all this running from death has made you hungry, your tiny stomach's growling. But what are you supposed to eat in this ocean full of creatures that want to eat you? That's when you notice it. Tiny particles floating all around you, like a snow-like shower of dead stuff from above. It's called marine snow. Basically the leftovers of whatever died thousands of feet above you, slowly raining down into the abyss. Not exactly five-star dining, but at this point, you'll take what you can get. You open your tiny mouth and start filtering the particles, sucking in whatever's small enough to fit. 3 weeks into your confusing existence, you've eaten enough marine snow to grow from rice grain size to about as long as a paperclip. Progress, sort of. You're swimming around, slurping up more deep-sea leftovers when a sudden current catches you off guard. Instead of fighting it, you go with it, swimming higher and faster than you've ever gone before. Huge mistake. Your body starts freaking out in a way you didn't know was possible. See, your tiny body is built to handle the crushing weight of deep water. It's like living your whole life with a lorry sitting on top of you. But as you swim higher, there's less water above you, which means less pressure pushing down. It's like being built for wearing a super tight compression suit your whole life, then suddenly having someone cut it off. The gases in your blood and tissues, which were squished down by all that pressure, suddenly start expanding like tiny balloons. Pain shoots through every inch of your body. Your organs feel like they're being stretched from the inside out. Your eyes bulge. Everything hurts. This is beta trauma, what happens when a deep-sea creature goes somewhere it shouldn't. Humans get something similar when they scuba dive and come up too fast. Your body is literally starting to come apart at the seams. Just when you think you're about to burst like a popped water balloon, a blessed current pushes you back down to deeper water. As you sink, the increasing pressure squeezes those expanding gases back to normal size. But it's not pleasant. Imagine someone slowly sitting on a balloon until it's squished flat. That balloon is your organs. You've just learned a terrifying lesson. In the deep sea, even swimming upward can be a death sentence. You barely got your arse saved by that current. Gasping with relief, you immediately dive deeper, seeking the safety of higher pressure. As you descend back into the familiar darkness, something catches your eye. A strange blue light glowing about 10 feet away. In this pitch-black world where you've never seen anything but darkness, this glowing dot is absolutely mesmerizing. You've never seen actual light before, and like a moth to a flame, you drift closer to investigate. Big mistake. As you approach, you suddenly realize that the light is attached to something. A fishing lure made of glowing flesh, and it is connected to a massive gulper ela creature with a mouth that can expand to swallow prey many times its size. The blue light was just bait, and you fell for it like a proper muppet. The eel's jaws suddenly expand like a deployed parachute, ready to swallow you whole. You flail backward in pure panic, your ribbon-like body finally responding to your commands when it matters most. The jaws snap shut just inches from your face. Well, that was close. After barely escaping death, the next few months of your life are dedicated to one thing: growing. And boy, do you grow. Just not in any way that makes sense. Whilst other fish bulk up, develop muscles, and generally become more capable, you just get longer, and longer, and somehow even longer. By your first birthday, you've stretched from paperclip size to over 3 feet of living ribbon. You're basically becoming the ocean's interpretation of a wet noodle. A really, really long wet noodle that makes absolutely no sense evolutionarily. Your proportions are absolutely mental. You're like someone designed a fish, got drunk halfway through, and just kept pressing the stretch button. This new noodle body of yours comes with some serious design flaws, as you discover one terrifying night. A viperfish thinks swimming nightmare with teeth spots you and charges. You try to flee, making a sharp turn to escape. Big mistake. Your ridiculously long body cooey and handle the maneuver and does what any self-respecting ribbon would do. It tangles. In seconds, you've managed to tie yourself into what looks like a sailor's knot. Helplessly flailing in the darkness, the viperfish actually stops its attack, apparently confused by whatever the hell you're doing. It circles you once, probably wondering if this is some weird defense mechanism, then decides you're too pathetic to eat and swims away. Brilliant. You were so bad at being prey that the predator felt sorry for you. It takes hours of twisting and turning in the darkness to untangle yourself, all whilst hoping nothing else comes along to investigate the world's most helpless sea creature. This is your life now. A 30-foot piece of sentient string that can tie itself in knots. Since you can't exactly chase down food with your pool noodle pisik, you've developed a sophisticated hunting technique called drift around with your mouth open and hope for the best. Unlike normal fish with actual teeth and hunting skills, you're stuck filter feeding, basically hovering vertically in the water, mouth agape, collecting whatever microscopic particles happen to float in. During one of these exciting feeding sessions, something a bit larger than plankton drifts into your mouth. Before you can spit it out, you feel a sharp pain as the thingoparasitic iso, the deep-seized version of a tick the size of a 2-pound coin, latches onto your stomach lining. It burrows in, making itself at home, inside you, where it plans to live rent-free for the foreseeable future, sucking your nutrients whilst you do all the work of finding food. Congratulations. You're now a mobile apartment complex for a parasite, and this is very common among your kind. Brilliant. As you approach 10 feet in length, the full absurdity of your body becomes apparent. Swimming forward requires an embarrassing amount of undulation. Turning around is a full production that takes several minutes and about 50 times more energy than it should. But there's no time to cry about all this. The ocean floor suddenly trembles beneath you. A deep-sea earthquake sends shockwaves through the water. Before you can process what's happening, the current becomes a violent underwater tornado, picking you up like a paper streamer. Your noodle-like body is completely at the mercy of this underwater storm, spinning and whipping through the darkness. The worst part, you're not alone in this chaos. The earthquake has disturbed a nearby colony of deep-sea creatures. Disoriented squid, panicked fish, and even a few small sharks are all thrashing around in the same violent current. It's a nightmarish blender of bodas and teeth, with you as the longest, Most vulnerable target, a small shark, thrown by the current, slams into your midsection. Its rough skin tears through your delicate tissue. You try to curl away, but another creature you kill, and even tell what it is in the darkness takes. A desperate bite at your tail. The water around you fills with the scent of blood. Your blood. The feeding frenzy intensifies. In the chaos, everything is trying to eat everything else. You're spinning, dodging teeth and claws like you're in some twisted underwater ballet. Your ridiculously long body is both your greatest weakness and your only advantage. Your flexibility lets you twist away from some attacks, but your length means something is always getting a piece of you. After what feels like forever, the current finally begins to settle. As you drift away from the chaos, you take inventory of the damage. A section of your dorsal fin is completely gone. There's a gash along your side that'll definitely scar. And worst of all, your body now has a permanent kink about halfway down. You'll never swim completely straight again. Not that you were particularly graceful before, but now you're properly bent. After all the hassle, you try to rest, calm yourself for some time. That's when you spot it in the distance. Another oarfish, an adult one, at least 20 feet long. Its crimson dorsal fin faintly visible, even in the darkness. After months of floating around solo, you're actually excited to see one of your own kind. Maybe it can teach you how to work this ridiculous body of yours. You eagerly swim toward its head to say hello, but something's off. As you get closer, your excitement turns to horror. Half of its head is gone, one eye socket empty, the other eye glassy and lifeless. Bite marks run down its ribbon-like length, chunks missing where something huge took several bites. Yet it is still upright, still swaying gently with the current as if it were alive. This oarfish has been dead for weeks, but its body hasn't gotten the memo. Unlike normal fish that rot, bloat, and float belly up, when they die, your kind is made mostly of gelatinous tissue that takes forever to decompose. With no swim bladder to fill with gas and make you float, you just keep going. After death, this oarfish corpse is drifting through the deep like some kind of ocean ghost. Its movement so lifelike that even predators sometimes do UN realize they're reattacking a floating buffet rather than a living creature. As you watch, a deep-sea shark approaches the body, taking another bite from its already mangled form. Great. As if being alive as an oarfish wasn't bad enough. Even death doesn't give you a break. You just keep floating around, getting eaten bit by bit, looking alive whilst being very much dead. By your 5th year, you've reached your full adult size over 30 feet of impractical sea ribbon. At this point, you've accepted your fate as a drifting gelatinous question mark that even evolution seems confused by. If you thought finding food was hard, finding love, the bright light burns eyes that have never seen anything brighter than bioluminescent creatures. The warm water feels like acid on your deep-sea adapted skin. The final insult comes as waves push your dying body toward shore. Your 30-foot ribbon, complete with its telltale kink, washes up on a beach. Humans gather around, pointing and taking pictures of your bizarre form. Sea serpent! Some cry, monster! Save others. They poke at your gelatinous body with sticks, watching it fall apart at their touch. Most of them have probably heard that oarfish are called Doomsday Fish. And recently, they've been appearing more often on ocean surfaces, causing people to panic that something terrible is about to happen. So, let me explain. For centuries, Japanese fishermen have called oarfish Ryugu no Tsukai, the messenger from the sea god's palace. According to their folklore, when multiple oarfish appear at the surface, it means one thing: a major earthquake or tsunami is coming soon. Is there any truth to this? Well, some scientists think there might be. Oarfish normally stay in the deep ocean, but they might detect subtle changes in pressure or underwater currents from tectonic activity before humans can. These changes could disorient or injure deep-sea creatures, pushing them upward into waters they'd normally avoid. But before you go full conspiracy theorist, correlation doesn't equal causation. Many oarfish wash up with no disaster following, and plenty of earthquakes happen without oarfish warnings. What's actually happening is probably less supernatural and more sad. When these deep-sea creatures end up in shallow waters, they're already dying. Their bodies simply aren't built for the lower pressure and warmer temperatures near the surface. So whilst humans are busy taking photos and spinning doomsday theories about beached oarfish, the real tragedy is much simpler. They're just deep-sea creatures that got lost, pushed out of their homes, and ended up somewhere they were never meant to be, all whilst looking weird enough to fuel human nightmares for generations. Closing. And there you have it, folks. The oarfish quite. Possibly the most tragic creatures swimming in our oceans. You're born in crushing darkness. You can't swim properly. You grow into a ribbon that ties itself in knots. You're a walking apartment complex for parasites. You die alone in the darkness, and then you keep floating around like a zombie for weeks afterward whilst sharks nibble on you. And humans think you're bringing the apocalypse every time you wash up on a beach. Brilliant. It's mental when you think about it. Yeah. This creature survives in one of the most hostile environments on Earth, the deep ocean, where the pressure would crush most living things. It's evolved this bizarre body that makes absolutely no sense. It lives its entire life in complete darkness, rarely, if ever, seeing another of its own kind, and when it does, finally die and wash ashore. Humans call it a doomsday omen instead of recognizing it for what it really is. A lost, dying creature that ended up somewhere it was never meant to be. The oarfish isn't bringing disasters. It's probably a victim of them. Climate change, underwater earthquakes, changing ocean currents. These things affect deep-sea creatures in ways we're only beginning to understand. When an oarfish washes up, it's not predicting the future. It's showing us the present, a present where even the deepest, darkest parts of the ocean aren't safe from disruption. These creatures have been around for millions of years, surviving in the abyss, minding their own business, being awkward, 30-foot noodles in peace. And now we're finding more of them at the surface. Not because they want to be there, but because something's gone wrong in their world. If you found this story as fascinating and depressing as I did, smash that like button and subscribe for more tales from the natural world. These creatures deserve better than being called harbingers of doom. They deserve to be understood, protected, and frankly, left alone to be weird gelatinous ribbons in the deep ocean where they belong. Share this video. Spread awareness, and maybe we can change the narrative from Doomsday Fish to misunderstood deep-sea noodle that's having a rough time. Cheers for watching, and remember, nature's weirder, sadder, and more wonderful than any story we could make up. Let's try to keep it around. Catch you in the next one.